Hey all, this is Blue Eyes Master 91. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube and on Rumble. This is going to be another deck profile. Let's see here. Today, let's just go with Red Dragon Archfiend. So, this was a deck I was really excited, got a lot of support. It's a deck that I have really liked over the years, and it's nice to see that there is more support for anime version decks. Obviously, being a Blue Eyes player over the years, Red Dragon Archfiend is basically the Blue Eyes White Dragon with a fairly decent effect. So, without further ado, let's dive into the profile. So, with the Red Dragon Archfiend deck, I will be the first one to say that a good friend of mine is the one who helped me come up with this build. So I cannot take the full credit on this. So, without more talking, I guess, on that regard, the deck is fairly straightforward. We have our three Bestials, we have Lubellion, we have Druisworm, and we have Magma. Those are pretty standard. The Lubellion fetches us our Branded Regained, Druisworm is a pop, and our Magma fetches us a dragon. So, the dragon that we'd be fetching is the Power Vice Dragon. For those who haven't gone up against him yet, Power Vice Dragon, a Red Dragon Archfiend that was synchro summoned using this card as material, cannot be destroyed by battle. You can only use each of the following effects of Powered Vice Dragon once per turn. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Dark Synchro monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can add one Resonator monster from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn from the extra deck except Dark Synchro. So, a really, really good starter for the deck right out the gate. Then we have Bone Archfiend, introduced in the structure deck that came out. Powered Vice Dragon came out in Blazing Dominion, I believe it was. For Bone Archfiend, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send one other card from your hand to the graveyard, or field to the graveyard. Special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except Dark Synchro Dragon monsters. You can target one face-up monster you control that has a level, send one Fiend Tuner from your hand or deck to the grave, and if you do, increase or decrease that monster's level by 1. You can only use each effect once per turn. And it is a by name effect, so that's kind of cool. So Bone Archfiend is another really, really good starter in the deck itself. Then we get into a more expensive card in Fallen of the White Dragon. Now, my buddy is extremely good at the game, and he had been playing around with running 2. And that is all I have currently in the real world is 2 copies. So, Fallen of the White Dragon is, I believe, sitting at about $90 right now, so I'm in no rush to pick up a 3rd copy. That said, the effect of Fallen of the White Dragon reads as, this card is always treated as Fallen of Albaz, meaning if you have 3 copies of Fallen of the White Dragon, you can have no copies of Fallen of Albaz, or any other card that becomes Fallen of Albaz. So, if this card is in your hand, you can send one monster that mentions Fallen of Alabaz from your extra deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except level 8 fusion or synchro monsters. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one Ecclesia monster from your hand, deck, or grave. You can only use each effect of Fallen of the White Dragon once per turn. So, another extremely good starter for the deck. Then we get into the Ecclesia, who, if your opponent controls more monsters, you can special summon this card. You can only special summon her once per turn in this way. During the main phase. Let me move that over. let's see here. Once per turn during the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card. Special summon one Sword Soul monster or one Fallen of Albaz from your hand or deck. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard this turn, you can add this card to your hand. So, great way. Excuse me. A great way to get into your engines very quickly. As they are both level 4, you can go right into a archfiend synchro. Then we obviously have our Fuwas, very, very common. And we also have our Ash Blossom. Darkness Resignator is the next card. Darkness Resonator is a newer monster, so I'll go over the effect. You can reveal one Red Dragon Archfiend in your extra deck. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except Synchro monsters. If this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect during your main phase this turn. You can normal summon one Resonator monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can target any monster or any number of tuners you control, change their level to 1. You can only use each effect once per turn by name. So that is a hard once a turn. Then we get into our Soul Resignator. This came out in the structure deck. This card is normal or special summon. You can add one level 4 lower fiend monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of itself. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except Dark Synchro monsters. The card or cards you control would be destroyed by card effect while you control a Red Dragon Archfiend or Synchro monster that mentions it. You can banish this card from the graveyard instead. You can only use each effect of Soul Resignator once a turn. So another really, really good card, and it helps just bring balance to the deck. Next, we have our Vision Resignator. Vision Resignator is a level 2 tuner monster. If a level 5 or higher dark monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Vision Resignator once a turn this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one spell or trap that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, Vision is really, really fun because he is a free body. And then we have our Synchron Resignator, which is one of the very few level 1 tuners in the deck. If a Synchro monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon this way once. This card is sent from the field to the graveyard. You can target a Resignator in the grave, except another copy of this card, and add it to your hand. So it is a once a turn free special and a add back. So really, really good. Rounding out our monsters, we have our 2 copies of Droll. We then have Called by the Grave, which makes a lot of sense. Super Poly is strictly for the Mud Dragon of the Swamp. It is just a way to help with Cool Tomb or other more powerful decks. Then we get into the Fallen and the Virtuous, which is a phenomenal spell. The Branded Regained, our 3 Crimson Gaia, and then the Impulse. So overall, a lot of really, really good cards in this deck. You do have Sectarion Dragon as well, which is another really, really good card. Getting into the extra deck, of course, we do have, like I just said, Sectarion. We have the Dragon that Devours the Dogma, and Albion the Branded Dragon, Mud Dragon of the Swamp, and then we get into our Synchros. Ecclesia the Dark Dragon, Bistio Dispatter, Red Dragon Archfiend's Original, Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. We have Draco Berserker of the Tenny. We have the new Crimson King. We have Xylon, the Shackled Dragon, the Crimson Blade Dragon, Red Rising Dragon, and Chaos Angel. So nothing out of the ordinary on this extra deck. In the side deck is where we have a little bit of fun. So we have our copy of Fallen Albaz, who is a super poly on board. We have our 3 Perulia. One of my favorite tech cards to now have is the Books of Eclipse. We do have the 2 copies of Ghost Bell. Nibiru, even though it's not that great right now in the format, we do have Nib. We have our 2 Lightning Storms, our Feather Duster, our Talent, and rounding it all out is Solemn Judgment. So, that all said, nothing out of the ordinary on that. Getting into a quick test hand. This is actually a fairly good hand. I'm going to completely ignore the fact that I have a Fua in hand. I'll activate Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia's effect then activates, fetching us a copy of Darkness Resignator. So we can now special summon out our copy of Power Vice Dragon, which allows us to add a copy of Soul Resignator to hand. We can then special summon out our Darkness Resignator by revealing Red Dragon Archfiend. Summoning it in attack mode. Darkness Resignator's effect allows you to have an additional normal summon. Summoning out our copy of Soul Resignator, who once again allows us to add a monster to our hand. The Bone Archfiend. Bone Archfiend's effect, discarding the Fuwalos to special summon itself to the field in attack mode. Now we can do our synchro plays. So, first up is the Crimson King. So, Resignator and Vice Dragon. Off we go. Right into the Crimson King. On summon, you can add a card that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend. Yes, I will utilize that effect, fetching us our Vision Resignator. Now that is done, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can special summon out Vision Resignator in defense. I'll go in. Let's see. Bishop Dispatter. I don't really want to use you. So let's go into a Crimson Blade. Crimson Blade Dragon comes out. His effect allows us to take a level 8 or higher monster that cannot be normal summon and add it to our hand, or special summon it. Lubellion comes to our hand. Finally, we have our normal summon of Ecclesia. Ecclesia's effect lets us tribute her for Fallen of the White Dragon. And of course, Fallen of the White Dragon allows us to grab that Ecclesia that we just sent to the grave and resummon her in defense. Next up, we can Synchro Summon. Going into Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. Utilizing our 2 monsters. There we go. So 8, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's how I go into you. Okay, so what do? You can target. Okay. So right out the rip, we have a lot of really, really good cards. I will, even though I am able to attack, I will pass the turn there. I am not going to do anything. That's a dark. That's perfect. All right. Okay. Oh, we got our Dominus Impulse. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because it's getting kind of annoying not getting into my main phase. Okay, so I'll turn it back on. I'm going to set that. Move into the battle phase. I'm not dealing with that right now. I'm going to go swing with Crimson King, which does kill. I'll go Crimson Blade for 24. And then we swing in with Scarlight for exact damage. So the AI on this is not as great as it could be. There's a lot that can be said. However, I have found that I like this particular program a lot more than EDO Pro. I don't even have it downloaded on this computer. I do have it on my 2 laptops, but I do not have a single copy of, or I do not have EDO Pro on my PC. It's just on my 3 MacBooks. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next time around, we will dive into the Exodia deck, which I have been having a lot of fun tinkering around with, trying to figure out if there's a way to make it a little bit more relevant in the meta currently. So I look forward to doing that, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.